put the... Maybe I did put the thumbnail in there, maybe I didn't. I thought I did. Alright, bring some... I think I put the thumbnail in there. I can't remember now. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. I'm kind of running out of thumb. So I'm using the same thumbnail over and over. I can't think of anything. There's to put a gray black screen or something there. Not much to report. Things are slow. Everything is just like halted. Whatever timeline. Yeah, it's like we're going into the this year prolongs into the next year to like. Anyway, so like some feel like the new year starts in like March or April. August. I guess it depends. That's a late bloomer. If your new year starts in August, that's damn, dude. So it's holding on to the old. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, are we still back in 2023? I think some of it might be. I had that year pop up, so it's like so. Yeah, it's the read of the week is slowness because we're going into the holiday. It's sleepy time. I guess people have had enough of. There's gonna be no invasion of Russia or Russia invading the U.S. There's gonna be nothing. The Epstein files, and that's about it. And that's gonna be so redacted if Ron was saying it might be something. It does seem like we're in a time of reveal, whatever that is. Truth finding itself, maybe through a rumor, or it doesn't mean you'll believe it, or a conspiracy. It just seems like as we go into the new year, what was hidden will now be known to some level. It's not saying what that is. Things are going to be very boring for the next 2 weeks, or I think we're already in that week though. Yeah, it just seems very quiet. I mean, not to say there's nothing going to be happening in the world. I'm not sure there is a way of describing it. But I think I was going to mention this yesterday, but I forgot. Obviously, the spiritual community still has a long ways to go. And the dark ones that are the demonic beings that say they're spiritual and are so-called teachers and all of that, they're part of the New Age, they're part of channelers, yada yada. They use the positive. They're always using the word positivity. There's nothing wrong with being positive, but they kind of wear positivity like as a blanket, or they're constantly putting it out there, so to hide who they really are, because people here are so ignorant, and boy are they. Well, it's warning, and it's right in front of people if they want to see it. But they don't always see it, so it's like a relationship, The signs are there, but they ignore them. Like I say, some of these so-called spiritual teachers, I guess they are spiritual manipulators, but whatever. And they have the devil smile. So, of course, some of the followers have their own devil they haven't healed yet, or haven't reconciled with, or real understood, whatever. So, the dancing with the devil continues, right? So, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's a process. This is a time of awakening, you can say, but it's going to be a long awakening. And this earth, like it's dying. Well, It's switching over to like some of the AI stuff, coming to more of the it's maturing into more of the robotic age. For I think it has to do with just that it's run its cycle. It's these jobs people don't. Might as well get a machine to do it. Eventually, there'll be nobody doing it because you don't need them anymore because you'll evolve out of that at some point. But a world like this is, this is like a hell planet. You don't just graduate out of hell just like that. It's a process. So you bring in the machines, and slowly people start to find other careers or don't come here anymore, or you go there trying to find themselves, which is probably the worst job ever. I haven't been here that, and as like I say, 2020, like people had to, sit, they couldn't have a job as a distraction anymore. They had to deal with their own crap, and that went off really well. So, and the government shutdown, kind of a preview of what's to come, but not. We still have a long ways for it to really start to feel the pain of it. So, like I said, I could feel the shutdown could have went to December for it. But obviously the aviation thing, there are certain things like the food stamp thing was messed up. Like, how do you fix that? I mean, they could fund it somehow, but they weren't going to. So, yeah. So anyway. But there's going to be another shutdown, maybe in January, possibly. So we'll see how that goes. That one doesn't seem like that. If it happens, it won't be that long. Because this one was the one they had to feel the pain. So back to boring. Yeah, not much is happening. No invasion from China. Of course, that's all talk. Doesn't mean that it's not on the table somewhere with the China war and all that in Taiwan. Just so. What's going on in South America? Yeah, Venezuela. I don't know, whatever. Either way, it's holidays and it's quiet overall. Doesn't need to be. Yeah, they have to kind of like create stories. The biggie. They have to create drama to give them something to do. So. But yeah, but the spiritual groups, it's like, where's Waldo? Can you find it? So it's because these demonic beings, archon beings, what I want to call them, because people are finding their lights, they're gonna make it more difficult. They're going to taint it, filter it, wherever they can. The tarot readers' energies, some of the, not all tarot readers, but some, or majority, whatever. I don't pay attention to them, but Oracle too, whoever. I mean, there's some good ones and a lot of bad ones. So, they have to fix their shit too. That's part of it too. So this once again a growth. So sometimes they're just trying to figure this stuff out. Some are there to. They're tricksters and so on. So, this is a difficult, to bring balance, internal balance. Easier said than done. So, some have not healed their inner devil. And that's why they attract devilish people, of course, into their lives, and then things get kind of out of hand. So. Or you just, mind your own business and the devils come to you. And you say, oh, no, it's your shit. That's not always the case. They're coming to you to derail your ass, or some entities working through them to get to you. There's pieces of that. So, you're like your light, and they want to take your ass down, but it's education. Yeah, boy, is it. Past years, I don't know, during the 2020, exactly, I had my own awakening with that. Seeing an individual or one individual sell themselves out, and the black eyes and everything. So anyway, not to go too deep into that. So yeah, some people are operating in the higher fourth dimension. The fourth dimension has a lot of, clutter. Yeah, it's not great. A good portion of it sucks. It just does. And I'm feeling more and more of it because that's what we're here to heal that. We're to, you know, they're here to learn. They're here to get some color of themselves, and that their human version here is completely off and whatever. It's just, this world is chaotic. It comes from somewhere, right? It comes from lower astral, fourth dimension, and wherever. That's just one place. We'll just concentrate on that. Secret space program stuff and all of that. And they send their little minions here to keep people keep people confused and to connect to their inner chaos. Because individuals are, they're coming into their own, and then they try to, derail it. To get you to focus on anything but yourself, or to just focus on inner chaos. But it's not there to heal it. It's there to prolong it. What's your secret information? My favorite is, can you prove it of your secret space program connection? It's like, okay, whatever. Coming from some of them are so-called leaders of it, and they're all trickster beings anyway, right? It's like, whatever, man. Yeah, just to keep you lost, basically. It's not about healing it. They're just there. They want to get information from you, and so many are just, it's a mess. It's hard to see things. Yeah, obviously it's hard to get a clear view of anything. There's so much confusion. So I don't call it a hell planet for nothing. So yeah, it's let's see. I've been doing astral connections in the past. I connect to the fifth dimension. Yeah, at least the fifth dimension, that's not perfect either, but it is a little bit out of the chaotic. Of course, fourth dimension has, pockets, realms that aren't so bad. They're halfway decent. But I think the majority of it is just chaotic. Like I said, this has to come from somewhere. We didn't just invent all this. It comes from the astral into the physical somehow. You have those plants that are trying to, with thorns all over itself, are trying to eat you, whatever the hell it is. So all the insect beings and all that. So, like the insects, like there's like a lot of them that, like there's new species probably all the time. So think like that's an astral, like somehow they manifest here somehow through another dimension, wherever, and that's the flying is what I mentioned. It's because spirit and energy just is energy, so it just flies, it just floats, it teleports, it floats it's like you're in the ocean basically. You're just swimming. So is an insect energy? Yeah, it's sometimes they can be good, I guess. Depending on the insect population or something, be pain. Yeah, anyway. So, I won't go too much into that. So, there's only so much we need to know. So, anyway. All right, we're going to, fifth dimension frequencies. That's perfect either, but it is a little bit away from the chaos to some level, without being too out of touch. Yeah, as you go up the dimensions, you get less and less connected here to the physical. Of course, you upgrade yourself, you advance yourself through challenges. If you can get yourself out of the challenge. If you're constantly being beat up by the challenge, well, that's the outcome. Yeah, it's a weird one. Because you can constantly just be living in an energy of chaos and get nowhere. And Fritzy's here. And I'm not going to pick her up. She'll tear me apart. So, all right, grace us with her presence, even if you can't see her. Okay, all right, we're going to the fifth dimension, and just yeah, bring that perspective. And not yet. All right, what's this? Breeze uses the fifth dimension frequency, also the art of letting go of the past for you to speed up your timeline, because the past, if you hold on to the past, and you can actually slow everything down. And you can, of course, do as you must, but that's why cutting cords is so important. Some have very big cords to cut. Well, karmic cords that are connected to the lower dimensions, basically. Those that have trouble healing, depending, some of them are from the lower dimensions, and they're not always ready to see what they have done in other realities. Even if they say they are, they're not normally. Sometimes they're just in the victim frequency, and they haven't quite healed that to know more about themselves. The victim energy can be a major blockage to your spiritual evolution. So to put the energy to not to be a victim. And it's all a matter of perspective too. Some are connected to the magic realms, meaning like they'll go through challenges here, but also try to avoid a lot of Earth's challenges too. They'll go through some challenges, but they won't go through a lot. So there's a uniqueness there. Like you can incarnate here and just find your way. Like you go through challenges, but also find your way around difficulties. And some of you just have to go through it. Well, because a lot of times it's better just to go through it than just avoid. You can say it does come back at some point, or you can continue to use your magic to avoid certain situations, but it'll find you eventually. It might be too cryptic, but maybe some understand what we're getting at. Sometimes it's just easier just to go through difficulties and just, because you are learning a lot through it if you're not knowing what it is. Those that are holding on to old relationships, well, they feel like some are using their spells and things like that. They don't work out too well. They're not realizing the relationship was a dud and trying to turn into a prince. And it's just a dud. Yep, an X is an X. You're trying to turn the frog into a prince, but somebody trying to take a dud and turn into a prince. It just doesn't work. As much as you might want to try. And it might, show its true colors as more of like a creature. A soul-sucking creature, actually. But as a reflection on oneself, though. Well, some of that has to do with control. Some feel like they can, do anything with their abilities in magic, and it comes to bite them. And so on. So that might be cryptic, but those figure things out on their own. And your path here is balance, but some aren't anywhere near that. They have to go through manipulations to get there. And they might have to take lifetimes, such as go through religious timelines to learn through that whole book. Yes. So you see the Bible, right? So think about incarnating where you kind of experience the entire Bible in your earth experience in some form or another. Oh, that's odd. I read this passage. I've lived through that on your like incarnation 180. So doesn't mean you're going through every detail of it, but some cases maybe there's some truth to that. So also it has to do with spirituality also. So if you have to go through magic manipulators and all of that, and go through all those spells until eventually you learn how to break those spells, not to say you have to become a spellcaster, just to break the spell. And once again, that can go through lifetime to lifetime. 2,000 years or more. So it's just when you're ready to cut the fat, you could say. You can break out of it. if you wish to choose. Anytime. There's no one saying you have to go through it forever. Sometimes there is a doorway out. That's up to the individual. When you don't find that door, when you don't find the escape, so okay, I broke out of that challenge. If you don't, sometimes it repeats depending on it. A lot of times they do. Because they just didn't get it. And you see that now in the spiritual communities. Yes, they all know everything. Well, there is accurate knowledge there. They do know everything for what that is for their reality. But also, for them that is the right reality. And so they're ready to flush it out of their system. It's like, wow, that was being BS for a long time. But for a time, it was needed. It was the true reality. Until they just like, okay, I don't need that anymore. So some of you can jump out of those holes a bit quicker than others, but yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, so you're here to bring enlightenment to others. Obviously, there's beings here that don't want that because this is more of a demonic realm, of course. And this is their playground, and you're here to. This is why also going against what they call fun here, because fun, as you can see, usually is alcohol, self-indulgence, self-destruction. Fun should be, well, it could be whatever you want, but it's really more enlightenment, not being controlled by others. What? Where it's like you're having fun and everyone else is miserable. I mean, the idea is for you all to have some kind of, enjoyment where it's not manufactured, where it's actually real. And so this version of fun here is twisted, as you can see. There is some, yes, it does exist, but you find it in unconventional ways that may not be mainstream fun. Let's put it that way. Where it's just more internal fun. It's something that is not advertised. Like they tell you it's fun. It's like, I've been there. It wasn't fun. You could go to these theme parks and things like that, where it's just all propaganda. So, yes, the witchcraft will slowly become more known. It's hard because people are, used to the mind control energies, so they jump from one mind control to the other. They're not ready to, they're not ready to break free of that. Well, it makes them feel warm, comforting, they're accepted when it's all just a bunch of nonsense, basically. It's like, it's the breading, it's the padding. So, it's kind of like peanut butter and jelly, because that's not always good for you. It can be, but a lot of times it's not. Just give you that warm feeling of manipulation. And when you get your truthful information, sometimes it is, it's painful. It's not intended to be painful, but it's because you're breaking out of the system. And so when you hear, as some of you experience the truth, it's like you're pulling a manipulative thorn out of yourself. And you might feel, like, what? Why me? Why did I fall for it? Well, either way. But you pull the thorn out, that's huge. That's why you gotta keep going forward and pull the rest of them out too. Right? The other ones are not so hard. Usually it's like a main manipulation there to keep you locked out. Once you pull the main manipulation out, the other one's gonna fall out. There's usually, sometimes religion and so on, with just a twisted belief system, let's put it that way. So